Hello, dear friends. I'm Ilham Hussein. I welcome you to my talk on hyperreality. If a person is asked about a modernist world, specifically, if you ask a modernist what type of world does he want, then he will answer that he wants or he dreams of a rational, orderly, and highly optimized world. The world must be driven by human qualities, human progress, science, and universal truths. He also celebrates absolute truth and he believes in objective facts, grand narratives, universal laws that should be applied equally in the case of all human beings. And he also strives to eliminate chaos. He wants order. He wants peace in every walk of life. Regarding technological utopia, he views machines, industry, and science as tools to liberate humanity from poverty and labor. He also dreams of designing planned cities which should be homogeneous. And he also believes in mass production of goods. And he wants a clean city, building skyscrapers which should be made of clean glass, steel, and concrete, meant to look efficient and identical whether they are in New York or Tokyo or Paris or Dhaka or New Delhi. So these are some of the features of the mindset of a modernist. Now, if the same question is asked to a postmodernist, that is, what kind of world does he dream of? Then the answer should be totally different. A postmodernist does not dream of a single, unified utopia because he denies grand narratives. He is skeptical towards grand narratives. And he also believes that the world is decentralized, fluid, and highly diverse, and also free from absolute rules. And he also believes that the world is full of chaos, heterogeneity. And he also thinks of a society where a comic book, a graffiti mural, a video game, and a classical opera are all treated with equal artistic and intellectual value. He does not believe in concrete identity. That is, concreteness of identity is not his concern because he believes in fluidity of identity. He also believes in decentralization of power. And to him, cities like Tokyo or Las Vegas, where historic temples sit right next to the neon signs, neon skyscrapers, and stimulated theme parks, created a mashup of eras and styles. That is, he celebrates heterogeneity. And he also thinks that buildings that uh, are used for human residence may have the architecture, may have the shapes like the place of worship. That is, you can impose the structure of a prayer house or prayer home upon a residence. So there should be heterogeneity, and heterogeneity is not a complaint to a postmodernist. Now, I like to focus on hyperreality that I proposed at the inception of my today's talk, and I like to show its connectivity with postmodernist attitude towards life. At the very inception, I like to mention Jean Baudrillard, a French philosopher. In his book, Simulacra and Simulation, which was originally published in 1981 in French language, introduced the term or made the term hyperreality popular. And in this very book, he argues that society has replaced all reality and meaning with symbols and signs, and that human experience is a simulation of reality rather than reality itself. That is, reality is not real at all, it is the construction. So, hyperreality, the term which is made very popular by Jean Baudrillard in 1981, describes a condition where simulations of reality replace actual reality, making the distinction between the true and the artificial completely blur in a hyperreal state. Signs and symbols of culture no longer reflect a real world truth. And the core concept of simulacra that Jean Baudrillard has incorporated in this very book refers to the copies of things that have no original or representations, that have lost all connections to an underlying reality. And in such condition, we feel the loss of real. For example, reality and unreality meet at a point which makes the distinction between these two blurred. And sometimes unreal is reiterated so many times or so frequently that real becomes secondary and unreal becomes real, and it becomes primary, and it draws the concentration of the people. So, for example, Disneyland. If you enter into the Disneyland, you will feel that the surrounding environment is quite real. But actually, it's not real. Real and unreal are met together in such a dexterous way that you will feel quite confused, and you will not be able to distinguish real from unreal. And the unreal will start seeming to be real. So this very condition is known as hyperreal or hyperreality. Just think of the photoshopped images of models. These photoshopped images of models do not represent the real people Instead, through mass repetition, they become the idealized standard of beauty against which real beauties are judged. So even a piece of information which may not be real, but if it is advertised from a media house so many times, frequently, and if it is pronounced by some persons in the society who hold some significant and powerful positions, then the people would start believing it as true or as real. So in this way, even the untrue turns into true because of the media coverage, and real becomes hyperreal. And this is the postmodern condition. And if you think of AI, artificial intelligence, and if you ask AI to show how Cleopatra smiled, AI will present a Cleopatra who also smiled in front of you. So this Cleopatra is not real Cleopatra at all. This Cleopatra is the permutation combination of data stored in AI. So in this way, history is also constructed. The history that we find constructed by AI is not real history. But the construction is so dynamic and so lively that you will feel considering it alive or real. So in this way, we are now in postmodern world living in hyperreality, and it is becoming gradually and day by day very difficult to distinguish real from unreal. And this is one of the major characteristics of postmodern world. So postmodern world is the world of hyperreality. Thank you very much.